All right, we're here in the Phillies clubhouse. This is where all the action took place before the media came in, of course. This locker right here used to be Mariano Duncan's locker. Mariano had these clothes that would retro clothes from the 70s that he used to wear with all the colors and all the beautiful things that he did. But Mariano was probably the funniest guy on the team. No one knows that because of the language barrier, but he was the funniest guy. Dave Holland's locker was right here. Sometimes Dave, most of the time Mikey. Mikey had a little, his other personality, his alter ego. And this locker, it's a wonder it's still standing because he destroyed it 2 or 3 times. And I'm sure that they had to reinforce this whole thing because he had a little temper. This locker here, Tankhead, Todd Pratt. Young guy, we let him down into our area, a little area down here, because we thought he would be fun. And he was. He was a fun guy to have around here. And again, he's like Mariano Duncan. People don't know it because he didn't get much playing time, but Tank was one of the funnier guys we had. We kept this locker empty because all the stuff that came from my locker, which is now Real Cormier's, this was my locker, and all the stuff that filtered out, the trash and everything that I never cleaned up all year because I was a slob, came into this locker. And Tank actually one day tried to get some of his stuff over into this locker, and I told him, I said, look, you're young, you're a rookie, get your crap out of my locker. Because he said, well, you already got a big one in this one. I said, how much you need? I said, believe me, you'll see by the end of the year all the crap that I have that's piled up. And it took them like 2 or 3 days for the clubhouse kids to clean this thing after the season was over. This one was Lenny's. Lenny Dykstra had his locker here, and he used to have a sandbox right here where he'd spit his tobacco when he was sitting here getting dressed. And Lenny amazingly kept an immaculate locker, like really clean. He was disappointed in myself that I was such a slob because after a while, stuff would start sliding underneath, and like papers and letters and stuff would fly underneath, and he got kind of upset with that. But, Lenny was okay. Didn't talk a whole lot. Very quiet guy. People don't know that about him. Right here was Inky, Pete Incaviglia. Inky was a new guy on the team, but we thought, with his charm and personality, we could let him down here. And plus, he was a little psycho, so it was good to have another guy down here that can keep, as long as we kept the pitchers out. That's what was the main thing. Larry Anderson, David West, they were all up there where they belong, the pitchers at the other end. The only one pitcher that we allowed down here, but he wasn't really a pitcher. You guys have seen him pitch. He just threw the ball hard and actually did not know where it was going. Mitch Williams' locker was right here. This is where Mitch whined and complained about saves and blown saves, and I walked too many guys. He's not telling us anything we don't know because we had to be out there and watch that crap. This locker right here, I'll never say anything bad about this man, Darren Dalton, our leader, our fearless leader, the guy who willed us to win in 1993. This was his locker. I don't know how me and him got the 2 big lockers. I can understand him. Why I got one, I have no idea. But like I said, this was called Macho Row. We don't know who started that name, but it wasn't us because we didn't see ourselves as macho. And actually, the lockers were great. Everything was great, but the real action took place in the training room, after the games, away from the media, because media is not allowed in there. This is the place where it all took place for the Phillies right here. This is where games were won and lost in the training room. Now, you guys aren't allowed in here, but no one's here, so come on in. Let's go. See, now these weights and everything, this is the modern player. These weren't here when I was here because we didn't lift weights. We lifted pitchers of beer. I can tell you where everyone sat. It was like a ritual every night. There was a training table right there. Darren Dalton sat there. All he had on was his sliding shorts, no shirt because he had that great body and everyone was jealous. This was my seat right here. And actually, when I would walk in after the game, there'd be 2 pitchers of beer here, a pack of cigarettes, and an ashtray right here. Of course, with the health of the players now, none of them do that stuff. Mitch always came in here and sat and told us how great he pitched, so we knew that was a lie. There was a lot of lying in this room, too. Inky would sit here on this table, and Dave Hollins would sit on the end. Lenny would sit back here in the corner with about 50 towels bunched up around him and eating watermelon and spitting the seeds all over the floor, but he would use the towels there to spit his tobacco juice in. And it was disgusting. He was a disgusting guy. I said he kept his locker clean. He was a pigsty, though, but I ain't going to lie. But this is where we all sat, and we stayed here till 2, 3, 4 in the morning talking baseball. This is the play. This is the burial ground. This is where every pitcher, every player, and no one was immune to it. Dalton, Dykstra, myself, if we played bad or made bad mistakes, mental mistakes, we all got buried in this room, and it was the greatest. This is the greatest place. This is where our team came together. And this is where we actually won games, won and lost games in here to take it out there for the next day. Look at these guys are healthy now. This stuff is, I tell you what, I used to, Inky, Dalton, and Hollins and Dykstra used to come back here after games like every other home game, and they would come in here and lift weights, and you know, and I would sit here with a beer and an ashtray, and can't understand why they were grunting and sweating and like trying to build their bodies up when we just had to play again the next day. I thought, you know, rest would be better, but this room is the greatest room ever as far as the Phillies are concerned. It was a pigsty. There was pizza everywhere. I mean, pizza from like three homestands prior. Pizza boxes still laying around. Video Dan Stevenson, he couldn't keep control. He couldn't clean it because these guys were such slobs. But, you know, we figured we had one good year. We had one run. And we knew it was only going to be a one-year run, so we might as well enjoy it while we could, and we did. So we made the most of it.